the thing that this trilogy is defined by is sort of philosophy and morality, right? And it's what I think...
we're going deep. We're going
well,
deep.
I guess it's just like something that stood out to people about these films, that comic books were always dealing with serious issues like this. They were just doing it in a form that was seen as juvenile and kind of crude and you know, had like a vapidity to it compared with like high art. And so what a lot of comic book nerds, of which I was not one, but a lot of comic book nerds knew, was that there was this really in-depth and kind of sophisticated way of looking at different perspectives. Watchmen is the classic example, where that's actually the comic book where people like, every one of these, you know, there's a consequentialist here, and there's a utilitarian here, and there's a deontological sort of perspective here, and all this.
There's one guy who's drunk a lot.
Yeah, that's it.
Greetings, pals.
Greetings, pals.
Hey, welcome to the podcast.
What was that? Key of E?
Key of E flat. My name is Frank, and this is the podcast Store on the Pal. Love it or hate it, we debate it.
My name's
movies.
Tom. I guess I'll go fuck myself.
I'm hey.
You stampeded through that.
Get in when you get a chance. It's hard and fast.
A little musical number at the start that we didn't plan, and then you just went, my name is Frank, and that's all the context you need. And just kept
I thought
going.
You'd come in later and do your own segment.
And you were right. No, that's all I got.
Anyways, the podcast Store on the Pal. Today we're debating Batman Begins. Mm-hmm. What year did it come out?
2005.
Correct. 2005. Written and directed by Christopher Nolan, based on the Batman comics. All of them.
Did he write this with Jonathan? Does he get a writer's credit, or is it just
your
Christopher?
cat, Jonathan?
My cat, Jonathan. Thank you very much.
Reference for the audience.
Real deep cut. Here's why.
Sorry,
I don't think we've ever said that on mic before, so that's not even like real heads will get it.
The identity of my cat is out
Yes.
there. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry to do that to Jonathan and you.
It's now you have a bunch of people like just enraged that there's a cat called Jonathan is the main reaction that most people, like 10% of people go, that's funny, and the other 90% are like, what is wrong with you naming a cat Jonathan?
Tom,
he came with the name. He
respectfully,
was a street
they
cat.
know if they've listened to any other episode, they know what's wrong with you. And no, Jonathan Nolan did not write this film.
Okay.
Bob
Did you
Kane,
check Jonathan the cat though? Just to be clear.
He's not listed, but
I think I think he did Dark Knight Rises because that's where all the Catwoman stuff came in. I think Jonathan was really instrumental in that.
So David S. Goyer is also one of the other credited writers, and of course Bob Kane, because he invented Batman.
Bob Kane!
Bob down! Chachi. Okay. And on this podcast, we actually rate films out of 11. It's our point of difference. It's what makes us beautiful.
Yes.
As Harry Styles and his friends said back in the day.
Point of difference, what makes us...
That's
what makes you beautiful?
That's what makes you beautiful.
Yeah.
Tune. Absolute tune.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Bit of a One Direction fan, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, Tom,
I could go one way or the other.
Don't do that. Don't bother.
I'm what they call an ambi-turner.
I can turn left. Zoolander reference. Very good. Why do we rate films out of 11, Tom? Can you...
I have a good one for this. I was doing a little bit of behind-the-scenes reading. And of course,
you just said off mic, I've done no prep. I've not read on about anything. So this is a lie. This is the
one thing I was like, okay, I'm going to find a good 11 for this.
Sure you did.
And there's no shortage of stuff out there for Jonathan Nolan, but also Christopher Nolan movies, which is what we're talking about.
Keep going. This is good. This
Christopher
is good
Nolan
stuff.
movies. And so there's a lot of BTS and a lot of things that people talk about that happen on set and all this. And during the filming of Katie Holmes' scenes, Christopher Nolan 11 separate times had to check to see if she still had a pulse. Actually, that happened like repeatedly. There were times where they were just like, is she? Like, are they doing like a Weekend at Bernie's thing here? Is she actually still with the living? Unfortunately, in a film stacked with character actors and, very recognizable faces and people delivering sturdy, reliable work, what a shame, Katie Holmes. It's a bummer. It's a bit of a bummer.
Wow. Okay, and that's why I rate films out of 11.
Yeah, because of Katie Holmes, unfortunately.
That's fair. I mean, she had to be involved.
Somnambulant performance in this. She's
what's the word?
Somnambulant. Meaning
she call an ambulance?
No, sleepwalking. But yeah, I suppose they could have called.
There you go,
ambulance.
listener. You've just learned somnambulant. That's good. We're
He's the
learning
third
stuff
Nolan
together.
brother. There's Christopher, Jonathan, and Somnambulant.
Somnambulant Nolan. Right, that's great. All right, we'll shout
He
your
wrote
name if you like.
Inception because it's the dream
Shout,
one.
shout, shush, shush, and shout your name if you like this film.
Shush and shout.
Shush and shout. But okay, so
Frank! Oh God, Frank! I like this film! Oh!
I just followed my own direction.
Pretty
Just followed my own
unpleasant.
direction.
Tom,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
would you like me to go first? Obviously, mine's going to be a bit lower than you, and you can
Yes,
have the
please,
sort of
please.
uptick.
Go.
Yeah, I would go a 7.1.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a good movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I'm going to give it a 9.5.
9.5. Wow, that's pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fantastic film.
Yeah,
Like-
it's not one of the canonical Fantastic films. It's not like the Fantastic Four or There's No Beasts and Where You Can Find Them or anything like that.
I mean, they're such bad films. Let's not even bring them up.
Yeah,
But
I'd agree. The Fantastic Beasts movies are bad. I've only seen one of them.
That's great. That's great. But this came out before the MCU began, so it has a lot to. We have a lot to be grateful for, I would say, to Christopher Nolan,
Yeah,
which is weird because poor DC just went to shite after all of this.
there's a lot of context around these films, and obviously it feels very cliche to even get into these are very influential movies and what Nolan did with the comic book genre and how he revived Batman and all that sort of stuff. Everyone kind of knows that. It's one of those things that you could talk to people who maybe only care about comic book movies, and maybe people who only care about commercial movies, and maybe people who don't even care that much about it would be like, oh, I'm aware of how important Batman, The Dark Knight, and to some extent The Dark Knight Rises were.
Yeah,
It's
I mean, even people who don't really know films kind of know this series of Batman. Like the Joker from The Dark Knight is beyond recognized, and I think Christian Bale is everyone's Batman. Like, people like him as Batman. There's an argument like Ben Affleck, who I like as Batman, but most
Marcus
people
likes Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne, particularly. You hear the argument
Yes.
that kind of when it's like, is this person a good Batman? Are they a good Bruce Wayne? Are they both?
Yeah.
Sort of the Peter Parker argument with things like that gets thrown out
Mm-hmm.
as well. Like, is it better as the persona, or is it better as the secret identity?
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson is still in the early days. That feels like, I don't know if that's ever actually going to fucking happen, the second Batman movie, but
We hope.
I think he had a pretty good whack at it. I still, as someone who never really cared that much for them growing up, we did the Batman Tim Burton movie last year,
Mm-hmm.
and I was surprised to find that no, Michael Keaton holds up. I think he's a good Batman.
he's a great Bruce Wayne. He's fun.
Yeah, I don't know if I feel too passionately about any of them, but I guess it's probably Bale by default for me. Even though
Purely
I'm
for the timing of when this came out and
Yeah.
what it did for film. Yeah, I mean, I grew up with Clooney. I loved Clooney. But it's hard to watch his films now because they are so silly. And you're like, that's a shame because he's good. He's good in that very camp sort of silly style Batman, but he still has charm and power and charisma. So you're like, okay, cool.
charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. Those are the four things that you need to make a good Batman.
What does that spell if that was a acrostic poem?
Those four words put together?
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That's... wow, I just tried to cut you off. Really tried to cut you off.
You tried to cut me off?
Do you want? Do you know what is so interesting is this film made $375 at the box office.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge sensation. There's always, as people often talk about, the kind of alternate universe in which this never got a sequel. It could have very easily been Warner Brothers going we could.
Yeah.
It doesn't demand a sequel given its returns. I don't think there was anyone who sensibly thought, well, if we make a sequel to this, it will make $1 billion, and also let's get the guy from Brokeback Mountain. Clearly, that's what this is clamoring for.
Well,
Katie Holmes, maybe we'd cut her adrift. Maggie Gyllenhaal gets her own shot at giving a different but also radically out of step performance with the movie. Rachel's a strange character.
Rachel's a strange character, and I mean, Christopher Nolan doesn't write women well.
Nope.
That's a flaw of his for sure.
You are correct, and we should lay that more at him. I don't think Katie Holmes is very good in this. I don't think she has a lot to do.
I think she's better than Maggie Gyllenhaal.
There's an argument, because Maggie Gyllenhaal is really strange in The Dark Knight.
I mean,
it's
she's a Gyllenhaal. Like, they're just a kooky kind of creative, artsy family, and they do weird stuff, and that's fine.
yeah.
But she just,
Harvey. Like, just some of the stuff she's doing in that movie is really, really, really bizarre.
yes, okay, but the point was to
anyway.
go back. Batman Begins made $373 million. Oh, sorry, I misspoke before.
Sure.
But then The Dark Knight and The
On
Dark
a what?
Knight
A
Rises.
100 budget, or is it a little more than 100?
Oh,
It was not a cheap movie.
no,
Right,
it
like,
wasn't.
it was-
I think it was around 100. I'll look
Yeah.
that up as we talk. But both
Sure,
The
but
Dark
it's like,
Knight
you know-
and Dark Knight Rises both made $1 billion.
Yes.
So it's like it did something. 150 million was the budget.
150
So
for a
it only
guy,
just made double.
which Nolan, was not approved or a known quantity at this point. This is him coming off Insomnia.
So we spoke about this the other day offline. We're talking about how he actually got called in to direct Troy,
Yes.
which then, what's the original director of Troy?
Wolfgang Peterson.
Peterson. Yeah, so he
Yeah.
was on it. He quit. He walked off to do something else, a Superman movie, in fact, I think, which is weird.
Sure.
And then they were like, Christopher Nolan, this is your shot. Come in and take over, and we'll, prove yourself, and then you can do whatever you want. He came in. He worked hard for a couple of months, and then Peterson just was like, "Nah, Superman's fallen through. I'm back. Get off my film," and just took it over. So like, Nolan
The
gets
idea of
no
that
credit.
happening now, like that someone could, 20 years is the difference, obviously, but someone could come in and say, the fuck is this Christopher Nolan guy? Doesn't everyone know I'm Wolfgang Peterson? A name that rings out amongst, the corridors of cinema. Wolfgang!
Yeah. And look, Troy's a pretty good movie.
Troy's a kind of fun movie, honestly. It's a movie that I think got savaged to within an inch of its life when it came out, and now when you watch it, you're just like, I don't know, there's a lot worse ways to spend 2.5 hours than watching this.
That
There's
first
just a
scene
lot-
where Achilles, Brad Pitt, jumps and slices that guy through the shoulder and
the
stabs his
jump
heart.
pincer attack, almost like a scorpion thing, is crazy. We are not talking about the movie Troy. We should be talking about
See,
Batman Begins.
Here's the thing: it's so spoken about. It's a fantastic film. Should we go through the cast just so we have something to talk about?
Just to clarify, it is, and this is the last time I'll try for a while to talk about The Dark Knight.
Sure.
But it is both a very spoken about movie and a far second for the trilogy. Like, if you're talking about movies that get spoken the most about, The Dark Knight might be top 3 of the last of the century, of the 21st century. There's The Dark Knight. Probably Interstellar, Nolan movies are the ones that get spoken about. with
Infinity
this-
War.
Sure, yes, you're right. Some of the Avengers movies as well, but it is the reverence that is shown to The Dark Knight is, I think it has a 9 on IMDb, which I know makes it sound like I just came in my pants saying the rating for this on IMDb, but it is. IMDb is notoriously one of those things where people review bomb and
they drag
it's
it,
very
for
hard
sure.
to. If a movie has a 7 on IMDb, you're like, wow, that's pretty high for that site. A 9 is unheard of, right? It's crazy how
This has an
popular that movie is.
8.2 on IMDb, so
Which
must be doing
fairly
something
high,
right.
given.
Look,
But anyway, the cast of Batman Begins.
I'll just quickly talk about it. This is a comparable film in quality and enjoyment for me to The Dark Knight.
Oh, I think they're very far apart.
So The Dark Knight is I don't know. I find The Dark Knight harder to rewatch.
I've rewatched that movie, so I was that exact age. I was probably 14 when it came out. That here we are still talking about The Dark Knight. I swear we'll get off it.
We'll come back.
But I watched it so many times, I don't ever need to watch it again, and that hasn't diminished my love for it. I think The Dark Knight is just an incredible film.
That's
and
me-
I
that's me with
truly
Anchorman.
have seen it 20 times, maybe 30 times.
Wow.
Just a ridiculous, and all that within the space of 2 years. I just watched it repeatedly. I should watch it again, honestly, but it's been a while.
Maybe we could do it next week. Maybe we could do a sequential film.
Well,
trilogy.
we should say that
Never
this is
done
the
it before.
first time we've ever picked the first movie in a series.
Yeah.
Normally we go Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Thor fucking Ragnarok, Jurassic Park 3. Why not? Nothing matters. We're all gonna die, right? But this is the first time we've gone Batman Begins. Right? That's although I suppose we did the first Batman as well of the Tim Burton movies.
True. Hey,
So
sometimes
it's a
it makes
Batman
sense.
tendency.
Sometimes it makes sense. Okay, the cast: Christian Bale, Michael Caine, Gary Oldman, Katie Holmes, Liam Neeson, Tom Wilkinson, who is fantastic, Cillian Murphy, Morgan Freeman, Do I need to go on? Is that okay?
I mean, Rutger Hauer is one of the few that I think is still on the list there, who's like the Bill Earl or William Earl,
Yeah.
who's obviously very well known for Blade Runner and just one of those guys who Nolan loves doing that. Like, he gets Matthew Modine in The Dark Knight Rises, he gets Tom Berenger in Inception. Like, he pulls these actors who kind of were big in the 70s, 80s, 90s,
Yeah.
and is like, you want to be just like some random old guy in this movie?
But there's
and-
always
and-
like a tie-in. So for what Rutger?
Rutger or Rutger. I think
know.
maybe it's Rutger Hauer.
So he obviously Batman Begins, far out, looks a lot like Blade Runner. That's obviously a huge visual inspiration. Nolan has said that, and that's why he gets someone from Blade Runner to come in. So it's like, hey, this is a tie-in. I'm paying homage, and I want you to
Sure.
be part of it to kind of tie it in this weird like.
William Fichtner is the bank manager in the first scene of The Dark
Yes.
Knight, and of course from Heat. And that movie is drawing so much from Heat, and
Yeah.
so it's like, yes, he is making those
And
connections.
you can't
That's
get
true.
Al Pacino in to be a bank manager. It just wouldn't make sense.
No.
She
Do you even know who you're robbing from here?
You got a great bus.
They open the safe and it's like, this is just cocaine. It's all, where's the
Still?
money? Still, Al?
And cappuccinos.
And
Dunkin'
cappuccinos.
Donuts.
Oh, Dunkachinos, yeah. I want to shout out two more actors in it that I just think it's brilliant. They're in it. Richard Brake plays Joe Hill, maybe. I can't remember. The guy who shoots
Joe Chill.
Joe Chill, who shoots Batman's parents. Richard Brake is the original Night King from Game of Thrones. And he's also
Nerd.
in... and he's got a very particular look to him where when you see him, if you know him from that, if you know him from Barbarian, it's like, there's that freak. Like, he's got such an interesting look, and I really appreciate seeing him in things. And also, the actor's name is impossible to say. I can't remember it, but the homeless guy who Bruce Wayne gives his jacket to is Boris the Blade from Snatch. And just one of those random Serbian actors who just shows up in shit every now and then, and every time I see him in this, I'm like, it's Boris the Blade. That's great. That's cool that he's got a little role in this. A guy who seems like he should have been in John Wick, but somehow wasn't.
Is it Rade Sebedzia?
I think you're right, yes. So it's a very difficult name to say, but like Boris the Blade is how I just think of it.
And then you got a John Nolan in there. I wonder if that's a Nolan, right?
No, I don't think
Just
that's
hiring
some
his family.
Namblump
God.
is the other Nolan. Okay, so some Namblump. So
Is Christian Bale the greatest actor of our generation?
I don't
before we
think
get
so,
into
but
it?
that's okay. People seem to like that as a take. We may even have more to say about that on a future episode. Who knows? But that's certainly not my take.
Okay.
What was that?
I just made a funny noise.
You made it sound like, and only maybe 3 people are going to care about this, but it's like Lickitung from Pokemon. Just like whenever he does his, like, and he sticks his tongue out and grabs something. That was pretty much the sound you made.
Gracious. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad I did that so you could reference Pokemon.
Christian Bale's a very good center to these movies.
I remember when I was growing up, David and Margaret reviewed this movie, and Margaret said, I do love seeing Christian Bale's chin in the mask.
He's got a good chin.
He's got a great chin,
He's got a
strong
great
chin.
chin.
And I realized,
He's-
do people, are they admired for their chins? I had not known that before,
Ah, I see.
and I never will.
Well, there's that song from Mary Poppins all about it.
Please sing it. Please sing it.
Chinny, chin, chinny, chin, chin, chiroo.
All the chin joints in all the world.
That's very good.
Oh, dear.
Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown. Oh.
Okay, I think we should talk about. We spoke about this on Iron Man about how origin stories are always more enjoyable in the first 2/3. I would that rings true here. The first 2/3 of this film is fantastic, masterpiece kind of level, and then they get into the Narrows and the gas is released and the fear takes over, and you're kind of like, okay, all right,
Yeah.
kick some ass, Batman, and let's call it a day.
I partially agree. I don't love the first act of this movie. I think is serviceable. It's not something that I'm bowled over by, even though I'm certainly not bored or upset by it. But like, the movie starts for me probably at the 45-minute mark when Bruce Wayne goes spelunking, exploring the grounds underneath the foundations of the Southwest Wing, or wherever it is. And
It's pretty good.
it was okay. And he's down, and the bats come out, and he stands up while the bats are circling him. And I was
Becomes
like,
one with the bats.
I'm like, I can't believe how well this works, and how the swelling score and how just the sound, the Foley artistry of the bats, the VFX that is a very simple and kind of crude effect of just having like, you know, a flapping sort of menagerie of bats surrounding him.
Yeah.
And it not only works then, it really works for me the second time when he uses them as backup in that scene where he has to escape the cops and he calls them with a hypersonic sort of screeching thing.
Yeah.
And the second the bats show up there, I'm like, why am I thrilled to see bats in this movie? Like, every time I'm kind of elated that there are
It's one of the
bats.
only, like, not naff things. There are a few comic book things that you're like, all right, good work, grappling gun, very good. But
Yeah.
the Sonic, to be able to call the bats to him, and then he jumps down the staircase in the spiral of bats, and it's like, when he lands. It's great. It's really
It's
great.
kinda
It's a little
great.
silly in the way that it still works, and it still feels like cool without being
Yeah. Even when he's in the Batcave and he brings Rachel back with him, and when he moves from Rachel to the computer and back to her, he does a little flourish both times where he's like, woof, and he kind of glides
It's a
to
full,
her.
like, Dracula moment where he's like, vroom.
True. Yes, it's got a very Bram Stoker sort of element to it. I agree. It's that 20 years later, we look at the things in this movie that were so gritty and groundbreaking at the time, and now we're like, this has become a bit cliche and a bit corny, right? And like the things that seemed like, I didn't know Batman could be like this.
Yeah.
I thought he had to be a goofball. I thought he had to be kind of like imposing, but not particularly threatening or menacing. And in this, he is quite effectively scary. One of my favorite scenes in the whole thing is Mark Boone Jr., who plays Fass, whatever his name is, Gary Oldman's partner's like corrupt partner. Him walking down the alley, a line you and I quote to each other all the time. Well, they don't like falafel.
Falafel?
Great
Please,
line.
my kids.
And when he gets pulled up by the
Flass.
when Fass gets pulled up
Flass.
by Flass.
Open your ears.
Sorry.
Like
It's
flaccid. Have you heard that before?
never, weirdly. No.
not-
I've found the
Never.
exact term I've been looking for, so thank you. That will help a lot in the future. But when Flass is walking down the alley and Batman pulls him up by the grappling hook, and he's just like, where were the drugs going?
Oh, yeah.
Do I look like a cop? That shit is great. I really get pumped up
So
during that
good,
stuff.
and it's been so parodied now, 20 years later.
Still
You're like,
works.
all right, it still works, because when you see it in context, you're like, this guy's tough. This guy's tough as, and I don't care that it might be a silly voice. It's intimidating. What my scene I thought you were going to reference is when they're down at the docks and he's jumping between the shipping containers, and
I like that scene.
the guy goes, "Where are you?" And he's right behind, here.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, "Ah!"
He's,
Straight away.
I like that scene a lot, even though it kind of is a bit of a tease, because you basically see the weird flourish from Falcone's perspective, where he comes around the corner and he just sees this like complete chaos, and you
whirlwind
don't
with the
really
gun
see
reveal.
what's going on. Yeah, like it's just meant to seem like a flurry of weirdness and action. Of course, when he pulls Falcone out of the car and goes, "I'm Batman," and headbutts him,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, great. I like
Great.
this.
The
I think
headbutt's
this is
brutal. It's so good. Strings him
nice
off on the
coat.
light.
And then
Yeah.
flies away.
See, it has so many more lines that it's been a while since I've seen it, so there's so many more lines that jumped out to me as funny comic book lines. Like the recurring of nice coat, but even when he calls to the bats, he's like, back up. And you're like, dude.
When the thing that Nolan does, even in The Dark Knight, but I think, it works in much more high octane and better action scenes, but the chase scene between Batman and the police, and it keeps cutting to people on the radios being like, can someone even get a look at this guy? And then
It's
he's
a black,
he's like, never mind. Like,
tank.
Every character should be played by Jason Mantzoukas. Just being like,
He's
whoa, has
flying.
anyone even seen what this guy looks like?
He's
like, it's
flying
just-
on rooftops. You're
Yes,
like,
it's very silly, but very comic booky. I think the best thing about Bale is that he has the subtlest lisp anyway in life, in his American accent especially. It comes out in American Psycho in moments of extremity.
Yeah.
And it's just a little bit there under the surface. But when he does the Batman voice, it's the main attraction. Where he does the, swear to me! Like, just the sort of like, yes, the wateriness of his S's when he's in Batman voice really works. It's so out, it seems weird. You're like, why would Batman have a lisp? And yet you're like, it's kind of great. It's kind of hot. It's kind of unsettling. It's a lot of weird things all at once that I'm like, that's sort of genius. It's not to shout ahead now to another Nolan movie, but it's sort of the Bane voice, where the first time you hear it, you're like, excuse me? And then by the end of the movie, you're like, kind of the best choice, actually. Like, that's exactly
what
how-
else could it have been?
Oh, expect one of us in directing, brother. Just like, yeah, great, fantastic.
You didn't need to do that bad impression of it, but that's fine.
That's the best impression you'll ever hear of the Bane voice.
Sure.
You merely adopted the darkness. I was born into it. Just good. It's a good impression. Tell me
Sure.
otherwise.
I'm telling you, it's not.
And then he has that bit where he's like, by the time I saw light, it was blinding. And he just has that one really aggressive word. Anyway, that's a different movie.
That is a different movie and an entirely different moment. Cillian Murphy in this, what do you think of him as...
Fucking incredible.
right.
Like, kind of next level performance from Cillian Murphy.
We spoke about this with Ragnarok and Thor, how Tom Hiddleston was almost Thor. Like, went to like a dress-up party.
Of course.
Went to the costume call.
He dressed up as Thor once for Halloween,
yeah.
And now he's just like, I was almost Thor.
I was nearly Thor, actually. Cillian Murphy was nearly Batman, and you're like, you see him in the screen test, and he actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, but good choice to go Scarecrow instead.
Oh,
I think he's
so
a perfect Scarecrow. It's to the movies. It's the first time I've watched it in a long time. Mm-hmm. And every time he was in it, I was like, I get why he's not the main villain in theory. In practice, it's a little frustrating because he is so compelling.
Yeah.
I would watch a movie. I would watch an alternative cut of this movie where Scarecrow is in it 20 to 30% more and actually becomes the predominant bad guy that Batman has to fight, especially after he fucking sets him on fire. Like,
and poisons him,
scene.
and he's like going crazy, being like, "Oh god, the fear! Oh god!"
I think he's so
Alfred.
captivating.
Alfred.
Yes, like pulling out his. I'm just glad it's not like a Motorola Razor that he's calling Alfred on.
And it has to go beep, beep.
Yeah,
beep.
God.
What's the
But also,
number?
you have to imagine the hard cut from him on the roof to the back of the car, and you're like, well, tell me how that happened. Like, how did 70-year-old Michael Caine get Batman off a roof into the back of the fucking
I
car?
hadn't thought about it.
It's a bit...
There's
whatever,
foreshadowing. He
doesn't
does the same thing with Rachel.
Yeah, in a date rape joke
Wait,
that I found
is
a
that-
little uncomfortable. When Michael Caine's like...
I wouldn't say it's a date rape joke. Is it?
when
It's
it cuts to the characters watching and he's like, oh, a little bit much, I'm afraid. And the two people watching are like, dirty old man. Like, yeah, whatever. It's
Yeah.
a silly joke.
I guess so. Yeah, that's a shame that you brought that. up.
It's whatever. It doesn't ruin the movie or anything.
We're
It's-
right to move on.
It's, Katie Holmes is not speaking, so it's a successful scene in that
She's
regard.
not that bad. I don't think she's that bad. I don't think she's that good. But I was like, I watched it and I was like, she's fine. When she's like, your father would be disappointed. And she slaps him and she slaps him twice. And you're like, okay.
That scene, I agree with you that if you ask me what's her most successful scene in the movie, I think it's that one.
Her
You're right.
worst.
I think.
I do have her worst scene if you want that.
Go on.
It's at the end when they're in the wreckage of Wayne Manor,
Mm-hmm.
and she's got droopy face, and she looks like she just had a stroke, and she's like, "We could have been together,
Okay,
but
well,
you need
mate.
Batman.
Okay.
You need him, and I don't
Hold on.
love him." Like, there's something
Jesus.
wrong with her face.
Jesus Christ. My criticism is I don't think she has much chemistry or, real spirit to her performance. You're like, she's suffering from a medical affliction and I don't approve.
That
Like,
scene doesn't make sense, and her face being lopsided doesn't help it because
I
she's
don't-
like,
I guess she's tired. She's been up all night with Joffrey. That sounds like a nightmare.
"Who's Joff?" Oh, the kid
Yes.
from Game of Thrones. Good Game
Yeah.
of Thrones reference again.
Thank you. Yeah, weirdly. Oh
Before
my
that
God.
kid became King Joffrey.
His
and everyone
name
hated him.
in real life is God. I can't remember the actor who played Joffrey's real name. Isn't that a shame? He's very good.
He is good.
Young actor, and he's very cute in this movie for the few lines that he has. I want to say it's Jack something. But
I cannot even find him on this list. Jack
he,
Gleason.
Jack Gleason. It is Jack Gleason.
He's cast
It's
as
you,
Little
isn't
Boy.
it? The other kids won't believe me. And Batman's like, you can spy on your neighbors with this.
Why doesn't he give him a bat symbol? He gives him a weird, like, $2,000 tool, I had to guess.
Yeah.
Strange.
Again, for something that you're like, that kid's only going to use that for bad things. There's no way that kid's going to, like,
No, because he's blonde.
get really into nighttime, like, astrology or anything. It's like, there is a
becomes
neighbor
king
across the way who is being accosted by that young boy without their
Come on.
knowledge.
I do
I'm
feel
sorry.
bad for him when he's got the fear gas in his face and there's a scarecrow on a horse riding around. Like, that's terrifying for anyone.
Yeah,
Let alone
I
a
think
little kid.
I think I agree with you, though. Part of the problem of that last sequence is the fear gas has been so individual and so specific for the characters up to that moment, and then it just kind of becomes like everyone becomes a writhing mass of like it's a mob,
Yeah.
but they don't necessarily tear each other apart. They kind of pick one person and attack them.
Yeah, it's kind
But
of zombie mindset.
zombie mindset, but also like previously when Scarecrow has used it on the person, they've been debilitated in fear, and now it's like, no, now we are angry and unruly. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's not what it's done up to this point. Like,
Yeah,
it should be a bunch of people just cowering.
The affect has changed, but like also being
Very
like
weird.
half unconscious. And then when they give it to Rachel, he's like, I gave her a concentrated dose, and she's going to be brain dead in 30 minutes. If
Yeah.
like, so is that going to happen to all the people in the Narrows?
Also, bad job, Bruce, calming her down. Don't panic. You've been poisoned. It's like bad follow-up for
Also just
don't
screaming,
panic. Rachel!
Is not going to help. Take the mask off. Like, you're trying to save her life, man. Like, I don't know. I know
Yeah.
protecting the identity is important, but just speak in your normal voice. Or just
The-
do like a nice voice. Like, hey, sweetie, it's okay. It's going to be okay. With the
Just
mask on.
does his fucking Welsh-British hybrid accent. All right, Rachel. It's all right. I'm just character actor fucking Christian Bale, aren't I? In it.
In it.
I've got a mole near my nose that's really distracting sometimes.
But then
You know,
sometimes
the-
you can't even see it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
it's
strange.
gotten more prominent the older he's gotten, and the skinnier he gets. You watch the movies where he goes full machinist, and you're like, well, the mole's eaten. Nothing else is getting sort of sustained, but that mole is taking most of the food.
I wonder. I mean, he's never gotten it. I mean, he could easily get it removed. I don't know why he.
It's a fascinating detail. It's
For
a,
someone
like
who's
a,
so handsome and like classically good looking, you kind of go, oh, interesting.
it's interesting.
Also, his teeth. Never fixed his teeth.
Sure.
Sure,
He's-
they're not that bad. They're not that bad. It's fine. Do you know who's
He's-
amazing in this film?
Go on.
Gary Oldman.
I agreed.
Say no more. Move on. Of course he is. It's Gary
I
Oldman.
think
Like,
pretty much everyone nails it, and it's why I'm being a bit rude to Katie Holmes. I will admit she is not actively terrible in this film. She is not anywhere near the standard, especially when she kind of is asked to, and that storyline, which I don't think is very well fleshed out, which isn't her fault, but that storyline is asked to be the emotional sort of fulcrum of the movie, which it just doesn't work. Because I also don't understand their relationship, because when they see each other, when he comes back from Princeton, they don't touch. They never hug when they see each other.
they're not. Yeah, they're not physically connected. They're not emotional. Like
They
they're
grew up together as children, and
Yeah.
yet they don't hug when he comes back from Princeton. They don't hug when they see each other after years when she thinks he's dead. Right? Like, I don't really
because she's talking with Alfred, right? And then Bruce. She's like, oh no, the restaurant.
the restaurant, and then when she comes to give him a birthday present.
Yeah,
They kiss
yeah.
at the end, and you're like, this doesn't feel like the release of an unspoken affection. This feels out of place. It feels completely incongruous with what their physical relationship has been to this point,
Yeah.
which anyway, the emotional qualities of it are non-existent because they do not have chemistry, unfortunately.
No.
So
But
he
who
has more
has Christian
chemistry
Bale?
with Michael Caine, which is not a complaint. Michael
They
Caine
have
and Christian Bale have
fantastic-
incredible chemistry.
Michael Caine is so
Michael
good
Caine.
in this. Like I think it's interesting because you know he's become, and he even was at this point, kind of a parody of himself. But when you actually give him the chance to act, which we kind of forget that he's a brilliant actor.
I love Michael Caine. I think
Like,
he
he's so good.
will always be an institution. I think it's wonderful we still have him with us. Obviously, he's retired at this point. He's like 95. Like he's chasing David Attenborough for
Yeah.
that age. Like it's kind of remarkable how long he sustained himself. I read both of his autobiographies when I was a teenager, and it was really interesting reading one that ended right around the late 90s, early 2000s, and he's like, this feels like it's the twilight of my career. I think I'm done. And then the next one's like, I met this chap called Christopher Nolan. And it's just like the next act. Like it revives his career for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
He's the Nolan guy. And he's in a couple of other movies as well around. Honestly, I'm struggling to think.
The Zach Braff one.
Of course, the one that we talked about, that Zach Braff.
Forget the name, but it's like and Morgan Freeman and Alan.
I think it's literally called Fuck It. Like, I think that's the name
like
of the movie.
Three fucking old guys. Just
three fucking old guys, and they're just shrugging. Zach Braff's,
because they're like,
Zach Braff's just
shoplifting
hanging his head in the background, like, oh my god, what am I doing?
He
Need to get that Scrubs reunion up and going. But, you know,
Scrubs is good, and the Scrubs reunion is good. Scrubs new stuff, love it.
I haven't seen it, and I don't know. Maybe.
So then
maybe
don't
one
comment.
day.
So then don't be a shit canner. Hey, how about that?
You're right.
How about
You're
that?
correct. As always, you're absolutely right.
As
Frank. I
always.
apologize.
Thank you very much.
You're
Okay, so
correct.
Michael Caine's fantastic. I'm so glad he works with Nolan in every film except for Oppenheimer now.
Well, yeah, I mean,
film.
he basically has that moment where John David Washington says to him in Tenet, "Goodbye, Sir Michael." And it is kind of Michael Caine being like, I'm done. This is one of my last movies. I'm retiring. And he has an on-screen farewell. And his character is called Sir Michael in that movie. Bit on the nose, whatever. Tenet's a good movie.
Yeah, but who cares? Because it's Michael Caine. So you're like, someone's got to say.
He also has one of the most unforgiving roles in that movie, where he just kind of, John David Washington sits down, he's like, pretty sure I know the plot of this movie. And Michael Caine's like, well, strap in. And just tells him like 5 different avenues of nonsense that you're like, what the fuck is going on? This poor man. Like, why did you make him do this? Chris, he's probably cold and wants some soup. Don't make him do this.
Give the man a tea. I haven't seen Tenet. Does
He explains the first layer of just absolute, almost offensively complicated plotting in that movie. Yeah. It's a good movie. Don't get me
Time
wrong.
goes backwards for me, but forwards for you.
It's a movie I think was really successful, just right up to its final act, where it is kind of just like, you've lost me, but I'm still like, I'm enjoying the fact that I'm confounded, but you know, whatever. It's a good movie. Batman Begins, the first 40 minutes or so, we haven't talked about Liam Neeson at all.
Yes.
I think good casting in the sense that he's a great presence, also has good chemistry with Bale. Obviously makes absolutely no sense as Ra's al Ghul, and one of those decisions 20 years later where we're just kind of like, it's a misdirect, but even so, you're kind of like, yeah, I mean, his name is Ra's Al Ghul. like no syllable
the Irish man
fits with. But then he's like, my name is Ducand or whatever, or like, you know, Henri
Ducard.
Yeah, so it's like, that doesn't work either. None of these names fit Liam Neeson.
The characterization and the plot and everything fits him. That's totally fine. If it wasn't Ra's al Ghul, who most people know from the comics, as a very different ethnicity. So it's like, hey, how did this happen?
Why it fits with Ken Watanabe being the misdirect. You know, and I actually think with the very limited screen time he has, Ken Watanabe's quite effective in this movie.
Good.
Really
What's the speech he gives when he's like, he's just walked into the League of Shadows building at the top, and he's like, I'm not going to do the voice. I'm not even going to quote it.
No, go on, give it a go.
It feels a bit offensive to do that accent.
You've got the facial hair, you might as well.
His patience, like, and the line delivery he gives is so like weighted and slow and like meaty. Oh, it's good.
It's why he's probably the best performance in Inception, although I go back and forth because I love Tom Hardy in that movie as well. But Ken Watanabe is so great in Inception.
Really?
Yes.
You don't think Leo's great in Inception?
I think Leo's good, but he's doing the Bale role, where it's like he's the center of it. He's got to keep everything moving. He doesn't get to be the exciting performance.
Also,
in that
you
film.
can't say Bale's like Batman is not a center, boring everyman role.
He 100% is. I will disagree with you hard on that. That is exactly what Batman is asked to do in this movie, where there are villains like
Alfred.
Scarecrow.
Alfred.
Fucking no. Alfred gets to be more fun. Alfred gets to have quips and get to have what's good all those push-ups. You can't lift a bloody log, you know. And
Bruce Wayne has tell them that joke, you know.
He's got a couple of lines in this. I would
I'm
say
supposed to understand all that. No,
I would
just
agree
wanted
with
to
you
know
that
how hard it was.
in this movie, well, no, that's Lucius Fox's line. That's funny there.
Yeah, but
Morgan Freeman, incredible. In this movie, compared to the other movies in the trilogy, Bale has a bit more quippiness and a bit more like wise guy energy. That is gone in The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. His job is to be the sullen, troubled, tortured center of the movie, while everyone else has fun. I'm not saying that as a negative. I think Bale does a great job, but that is his job.
We are talking about Batman Begins today.
I would say there's a tiny bit, there's a seasoning of it in this movie where it's like, yeah, okay, he gets a little bit more. He gets the, can they wait till after breakfast when they're in the prison, you know, and they're going to kill him? You know, he says...
He says before breakfast, actually, because the breakfast is so
before
bad.
breakfast. You're right, sorry, it was bad joke scanning there. And then, you know, Michael Caine's like, what do you call that? And points to the television. He's like, damn good television. Like, you know, okay.
Yeah.
You know, which I don't like that kind of Bruce. I prefer him sullen, emo, like fucking dashboard confessional.
It's Christian Bale. He's always going to be better at that part of it.
Agreed.
100%.
Agreed. But I don't... Anyway, the first 40-ish minutes of the movie are okay to me. They're not the most compelling stuff in the world. I think it's more interesting than how most comic book origin movies set up, and I think the fact that we don't really bother too much with the why does Bruce Wayne know how to fight so well anyway before the League of Shadows. There's part of me that's like, I guess I don't really care. Like, and why did he go to Tibet? Is that where they are?
Yeah, looks like it.
To get imprisoned so that he could fight bad guys, so that he could find himself. Like,
well, this is the
whatever. Like, it kind of just
point
is
of
yada
Ducard
yada.
coming in is because he's just battling his own demons. He's just out to be like, well, I just want to like fight criminals. I don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
He's lost, right? He doesn't actually know what he's doing. He's just kind of treading water, searching out for violence. And then Ducard comes in and is like, I can offer you a plan. And you're like, oh, okay, this guy's got some vision. He's actually going to be a wonderful mentor because I have talent and capability and all these, you know, passion to fight crime, but I have no idea what I'm doing or why.
Yeah.
So
I think
you think Liam Neeson Ducard is going to be, again, it's like the double version of the misdirect. It's like, oh, he's good and he's actually helping me and he's guided me and he's being a really wonderful, caring mentor. You know, we're sharing stories of our lives. I don't know. I like it a lot, and I like the whole first act. I like the child Bruce. I like Linus Roach, who plays Thomas Wayne. I like the family dynamic. Like,
it's the best possible version of the millionth fucking
but it's
time
not,
that we've seen.
Again, this wasn't the millionth time.
No, but it not only had already been done by Burton, and it not had already been done, like, I think in the animated series and the comic books and probably in a video game by this point. Like, no, I suppose by the time we saw it in 2005, it wasn't the millionth version. But again, I'm not saying it's terrible. His dad has a nice paternal energy to him. His mum is a non-factor. There's much in the way that we've talked about
is this a Christopher Nolan film?
Yeah, that's a good take. But I don't find any of that stuff particularly interesting. And I don't really care about Child Bruce all that much. Especially because to me, the movie is way too in love with Thomas Wayne as a character of like, well, obviously we know Thomas Wayne was the one good billionaire. He was so good that he kept the scourge of Gotham at bay single-handedly. And I'm like, okay. I'm far more interested in the movies that kind of question that legacy, especially the latest Batman with Robert Pattinson. Yeah. And there's a scene where they talk about how Bruce Wayne's great-great-grandfather was part of the Underground Railroad that helped slaves escape. I'm like, give me a fucking break, guys. Like, you can't be the one good, white, wealthy family in America. Let's calm down. Like, shit
You've
like that.
You've always been good. It's just in your blood. It's just who you are.
It is a little like...
That's fair. But also, who cares and get over it because the chemistry is nice and I think the young boy can act really well. And when he's like, it's my fault, Alfred, and he starts crying into Michael Caine, and Michael Caine is, like, heartbroken for this kid. Because I was like, the whole first section, I was like, this kid can't act. Oh, and he wants to leave the opera theatre, and he's a bit scared. And then his parents get shot, and he's just sort of shocked. And then that scene happens, and he kind of lets it out. It's strange because he's a child, right? And he's been holding back emotion, which you don't expect. And then he just crumples into Michael Caine, and you're like, there it is.
It's the most effective scene across. I agree. Like the scene between him and Michael Caine, where he says, "I miss them so much, Alfred." You're like, I feel that. I'm not heartless. Like this poor little boy. But yeah, I don't really. That's not the stuff that entertains me all that much. The back and forth, like quasi philosophical stuff between Liam Neeson and Bruce Wayne and Christian Bale is never the most interesting stuff to me. And so their first meeting has just that smack of Morpheus and Neo, like. Yeah.
100%.
Why? What am I searching for? Well,
What's
only
your
you
fear,
can know
yeah.
that. Or
Yeah.
what is your fear? And I'm going to teach you how to master your fear and have like an emotional and psychological moment of catharsis and epiphany. How? We're going to fight on the ice. All right. Like, it's, again, and I'm not saying that this is bad. I just kind of go like, I really prefer when this movie gets going and this stuff's okay. Like, it doesn't fascinate me that much.
I
right?
see your point, but I disagree because I do love the passing of time, and I guess there could be more shown, and it could be a little less like,
Didactic.
yeah, just a little bit. Like maybe just show some real moments of emotion. I don't know what you would do. I'm not a screenwriter, right?
Sure.
But it does at least show the passage of time and the growth to a degree, and you're like, yeah, cool. He's getting to a point, but he also still has his morals of he hasn't bought into the cult entirely. Yet we see all the groundings of what's going to make Batman.
Sure.
And you're like, okay, cool. I think it does enough of the origin. It satisfies me.
The final challenge is the part I always remember the most. I really love that, like all the ninjas and then him deciding to cut their arms. And I remember as a kid the moment where Liam Neeson was like, "You can't leave any mark," and he's like, "I didn't." And I remember as a kid being like, "Holy shit, holy shit!" Like I was so excited by that moment, and I still get excited by it.
Teacher has become the master.
Yes.
It's a classic moment to see it, and it's just like a simple little trick, which is
smile
always so
on
rewarding.
Neeson's face when he's like, "He got me, that motherfucker!" Like,
And then
it's-
Ken is just like,
Watanabe just like, "Very good." Yes.
"What's he like?"
I think I got away with just going gravelly there without going.
I don't know if you did. I
think it was all right. It's all right.
It's exactly what he says in the film. So
He does say that.
Yeah.
That's true. Like, I'm just being honest to the integrity of the film. To get more into that, actually, we can leave that for a moment because I think there's some like Butler's Pantry stuff behind all that. But
Well, we can get into that soon if you want.
Well, I guess it's just the first act of the movie is that, then he goes back to Gotham. I really enjoy the process of him, as much as some people are like, the worst thing about prequels, the worst thing about origin stories is they're like, haven't you ever wondered how XYZ? And it's like, kind of not really. Is it going to be interesting? I'm always really compelled by the Lucius stuff. And Christian.
Yeah.
I really like that stuff. I really like him
good.
getting the hardware. I really like him getting the car, getting the armor.
Does it come in black?
Yeah.
Like, that's a classic little line.
It's a classic
silly.
line.
I do love the fact that about halfway through, Lucius Fox just says to him, "I'm not an idiot. Like, don't tell me what you're doing. I don't have to lie, but
Yeah.
you're Batman, right? Like,
Yeah, I get that you're
doing
Batman.
it. Good
Yes.
for you."
It's
It's
true.
good because he can't be an idiot, and then obviously by the end he's working with him running the company, and they're in cahoots together in a very good way. He's become trustworthy in the fold. I like it.
It's everyone that he brings into his sort of circle, right? Whether it's even though Liam Neeson obviously kind of gets left behind, but that idea of him having him as a mentor, then going back to Michael Caine, then having Lucius brought into it, then Gary Oldman, the first scene where he goes to Gary Oldman puts the stapler to his neck. I love that scene for so many different reasons, but the one I always forget is that it's the first time he tries to do his disappearing act and he fucks it up. And it's so funny that Gary Oldman sticks his head out the window. He's like, there he fucking is, and goes chasing after him. And Batman's like, I can't. That's so embarrassing. I can't let that happen again.
also
right?
runs and like donks his head on this fire escape stairwell. It's like, dude, amazing commitment to the bit, but just get some tools.
Yes.
And then he's like, have you heard of spelunking?
Ah, yes, spelunking,
It's like,
of course.
oh yes, cave diving, but the fun word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You expecting much gunfire in those caves? That's my Morgan Freeman. It was not
It's
great.
It's close. I do like the line. Let's just quote lines we like. So you're just one man? No, we're two.
No, it's a good line. That's a very. I
good.
agree. I like that a lot.
So much of this film makes me feel like a kid watching, and again, it could be the time when it came out, because I was a kid. It just makes me feel joyful for cinema, yet also silly comic book fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, it is serious cinema, it's a proper film, but it's so silly and it's so just like, yeah, Batman's amazing. Look at the tumbler.
It's honestly the most convincing thing I've heard you say, like in ever. Like, no, I 100% agree, because I'm just like, Yeah, look, I have to. When it's just him walking into Tom Wilkinson, just being like, "So what are you doing here? Oh, I'm Italian over here," and I'm just like, "Yeah,
Is
you
he?
are, man.
Is he?
That's incredible that Tom Wilkinson is playing that."
Not Italian. I literally said to Luce was watching it. She was like, "What's he doing as a mob boss?" You know, I was like, "Nah, he's like English."
It's
because I assumed he wasn't doing an accent.
It's wild casting. I actually think it's great. I think it works. I love Tom Wilkinson in this movie, despite the fact that he feels out of place. But it's like, yeah, why
Tom
not?
Wilkinson from Rock and Roll of Fame. He's fantastic in
Don't
this.
you dare fucking like rock and roller as Tom Wilkinson's definitive role with Michael Clayton or In the Bedroom or even isn't he in the Full Monty? I think Tom Wilkinson.
He is.
Full Monty.
He got the Full Monty on the West End.
Possibly. But Michael Clayton is the Tom Wilkinson role.
With another Batman. Look at this.
That's true, actually.
It's all coming together.
But
he's
fantastic.
You're Bruce Wayne. You're the Prince of Gotham, and you're like.
I don't think he sounds English, but I just think he sounds like a cartoonish gangster. And I do what you were saying before of like, that's the kid joy in me that's like, yeah, that's what a mob boss sounds like. Of course that's what they would and how they would behave.
And then when Cillian Murphy's like,
you got guts, kid, I give you that. Like, just ridiculous.
I think he's got spirit, but that's fine.
Spirit, you're right, he says spirit.
It's spirit kid. But he takes one punch and he kind of goes...
Begged. Like a dog. Begged. Just, really fantastic.
When Cillian Murphy's like, you want to see my mask? Most people don't, really care for it, but these crazies, they can't stand it. And you're like, whoa, here he comes.
Cillian Murphy's every scene in this
turns on the eyes like this. You're like, Cillian Murphy.
Every Cillian Murphy scene is a banger. His cheekbones, his general presence, his weird, smooth alien skin, and just like, but his undeniable sexual potency.
But in like a creepy, slimy snake way.
Terrifying, but like
Red
if he
Eye?
said,
Sorry.
I'm going to eat you after we finish having sex, I'd be like, I fucking hope so. That's what I'm counting on it, Cillian
I wouldn't
Murphy.
say I hope so, but I would say I expected you to say that.
Yeah.
Have you seen Red Eye? With
I have,
him
with Rachel McAdams. He's pretty good in that. Yeah,
he's good in that, but also it's so interesting that he starts as a romantic lead charmer, and you're like, yeah, but like he's a psycho, right?
Does he? I mean, I think he was in a couple of things, but he's mostly...
No, I mean in that movie. It's like...
Oh, I see. I thought you meant
Rachel
as an
McAdams
actor.
is like-
Yes. But he's always had that kind of like, this guy's gorgeous, but then like just one thing will happen and you're like, ooh, right? Like weirdly, one of the most normal roles he plays is 28 Days Later, where you're like, he's actually just a hapless dude in this. But then, like, yes, he's quite an Intermission, which is a really great Irish comedy. But anyway, Cillian Murphy's great.
Irish comedy sounds like an oxymoron.
Damn. Take that, Ireland.
Is Liam Neeson is like, I want to do comedy. Have you seen that in X-Men?
I have AIDS. Yes, it's pretty good.
That's actually pretty funny.
And then we should get into the Butler's Pantry, but basically just like, I think the whole middle section's great. I do like watching Batman become Batman. I really enjoy everything about like the whole, him becoming the Dark Knight and everyone starting to realize his potential to make fools of the government and the police force, but also to like help the DA's office, the ways in which the criminal gangs are starting to worry. All that stuff's good. And then, yes, I agree with you pretty much from when Liam Neeson shows back up, I really like their energy. I always, no matter how much I'm like, it's just a movie, you don't have to be this way, I always knock on, oh, Bruce, I need you to meet this man. What did you say it is? Ra's al Ghul? And then in front of this woman, he goes, you can't be Ra's al Ghul. I watched him die. And this woman's like, I'm still right here. Like, I heard that. What a strange thing for Bruce Wayne to say.
The drunk playboy millionaire.
I watched him die. She'd be like, what?
You could argue that he's so shocked that he drops the mask of Bruce, right?
Or it's a stage whisper sort of thing, where it's like...
It's an aside.
Which, but I've always thought it's so strange that Nolan was like, no, keep her in the frame for that line. Like, leave no doubt that she is right next to him as he says
But then he goes, or is Ra's al Ghul immortal?
Yes.
And you're like...
Okay.
If I had that at a party, I'd be like, what are you taking? And can I have some?
Yes.
Like...
She disappears with the fake Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
To do what? Like,
More of those drugs
to
that they're
trade
doing.
recipes. Like, what are they going to talk about? And then yes, they have the whole sequence in the house, which
Fantastic sequence.
It's a good sequence. The house burns
I
down.
love Christian Bale being like, all you freeloaders, all you sycophantic, like the way he does that speech is
Great
so
drunk
good.
acting. Even the way he taps on his glass and he gives it a second look right as he does it.
oh,
Like,
it made
I
a noise.
wasn't expecting him to do that. It's like he's a very talented actor. He's
Takes a sip, doesn't really drink. Classic Bruce move.
Yeah.
My goodness, he's good. He
just
does
the
same thing in The Dark
arrogance.
Knight.
The sip is there to kind of sell. Like, no, I'm an asshole. And it's like,
you
get it.
can piss off.
And then
He does the same thing with like Harvey Dent.
Oh yes.
Very mirroring. The whole trilogy, and we'll talk about it. We'll get into Bruce Wayne. We'll get into the Butler's Pantry soon. This whole trilogy has so many callbacks and through lines and visual symmetry throughout the trilogy. It's so well made. My
That's true.
goodness, it's so well
very
made.
considered.
There's so
Even
many
though the
mirroring
third
scenes
one-
and parallels.
the
The den when he falls in the pit, it's exactly the same as the well from the start. Like,
Sure.
Of course they knew that and they had films to fit, but it's just nice. You
Yes.
watch them all three together and you're like, it works. It's a really strong trilogy.
I probably am going to watch The Dark Knight Rises now, sometime over the next week, because it's.
I'm going to put them on right now.
It's fuck this episode.
Let's
Let's
go.
just start watching The Dark Knight. We should just say very quickly, the ending is the ending. I do think pretty much from getting to the Narrows, the last really exciting moments in the film for me are, I'm sorry, Gordon, but there's no one left. And then just Batman fucking jumping over, like, in the car. I love that moment. I think that's
Yes.
incredible. And obviously, Crane getting shocked by the taser. Even though I'm like, that should be disappointing, but he just sells that so well. The
he's like,
scream as the fucking Horseman of the Apocalypse moment. I think that's
yeah.
really great. Again, I wish there was more of him in the movie, because I think the film lacks a compelling central villain. Because even if you want to say, well, it's Liam Neeson, I'm like, well, no, that doesn't.
was he?
That's not that interesting to me, you know. And even the last fight between them on the train, I'm like, okay, sure, like.
Also, Batman's in his armored suit, and Liam Neeson is just in it. Like, Liam Neeson should be knocked out 5 minutes into that.
Yeah.
2 minutes into that.
I just think by the time they're fighting in that train, I'm like, I have never ever thought this is like a, oh my god, this is like the barreling pinnacle moment of the film. I'm always just kind of like, the most exciting stuff has happened by this point.
Yeah,
Like,
and some of the fighting, because, I mean, it's Liam Neeson, so at that age he would have been 55.
Sure, he's
So,
an older guy.
You know, the physicality isn't there for a lot of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, it's fine. It's good. I think it's interesting when the water pressure guy is like, this can't get to Wayne Station, otherwise the whole city blows. It's like, how does that work? I know you sort of laid it down saying Thomas Wayne wired everything to bit. That's the central hub of the city.
Yeah.
But he's watching on this screen, and Lucy said this. She was like, how does he know that it's over?
Yeah.
How does he know that they won the fight? Like,
Yeah.
Because that machine, the train plummets into the building, right?
Yeah.
It still makes it pretty much to the building.
I think it's very kid playing with train set action figure thing, where it's just kind of
Yeah.
like, stop the train. Normally in most films there would be explosives on the train and they'd be destroying the tower, but in this one it's
It's
slightly
the
more
Lone
complicated.
Ranger, or it's Toy Story 2, or it's...
Yes, but in this instance, it's a vaporizer and it's the water mains, and you're
And
like,
Gary
that's
Oldman is-
kind of hard to. I love Gary Oldman going yes when he finally does it. It's Gary Oldman has maybe 17 seconds of screen time in this film, and he
Barely
eats
it.
up every one of them. He's
Just-
so good. Actually,
And the callback to, when he puts his jacket on young Bruce,
his
and they
encounter
call
with
that back
young
to the
Wayne
third film.
actually is more effective to me than Michael Caine's. When he says it's going to be okay and he comforts him, that's the moment that gets me with young
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne. I love that moment. He's so warm. And it's
He's
Gary
warm, but
Oldman,
he
so
also-
you're like,
but he
man.
also has this level of like, he doesn't know. He's kind of terrified. Like, it's so nice to see young Gary Oldman, and for him to be a nice guy. He doesn't play nice guys that often.
This is truly it, where it's like, this is him in his Sirius Black misdirect, actually, I'm only kind of a psychopath era. But before this, it's like Dracula, Sid Vicious, fucking the guy with dreadlocks from True Romance, and
Rastafarian, yeah,
old
amazing.
mate from Fifth Element, where you're just kind of like, right, let's never invite that guy around. And in
Yeah,
this,
he
you're just like,
doesn't look
what
like
a
a fun
what a
hang.
warm presence Jim Gordon is. Really great.
Which is who Gary Oldman is, apparently.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, good.
He's great. You've
All right,
heard
do you want
that.
to get in the butler's pantry?
Have you heard that direction that Nolan gave him? I really love hearing it. He says that he loves directors who trust actors, and when they give direction, it's a little nudge, but it's just enough. And he says he only ever once got a note from Nolan, and he said, "Let's take that again. There's more at stake." And Nolan was like, "Got it." And I'm like, "That's fucking excellent." Like, I love every part of that. The idea
It's just clean direction.
Yeah.
And it's so trusting of the actors. And that's when you have a cast like this, you can direct like that.
yeah.
Oof, that's beautiful.
excellent.
It's almost as good as George Lucas.
Yes.
More intense.
Yes, of course.
Hey,
but
more intense, more at stake. Pretty similar. Talk about epic trilogies.
you read one book, and George
I'm only
Lucas.
halfway through it. I read like a page a night, and then I'm like, I'm asleep. I'm asleep. It's a really, I've got to be rude, it's a really boring, slow book. God, they
Sure
drag
it
it out.
is. It's probably just like, and then he played more with his train set and insisted that one day Star Wars would be a reality.
This is what.
Then he did a drawing of a Wookiee.
Every chapter finishes, and they're like, but the question kept returning. When will you do more Star Wars? Every chapter. And you're like, just talk about it.
Just
Just
do
get
it.
to that chapter already. Okay, Butler's Pantry.
Butler's Pantry.
The butler in the pantry with a mic. The butler's pantry.
Yes.
I guess, like, the thing that this trilogy is defined by is sort of philosophy and morality, right? And it's what I
Oh,
think.
we're going
also-
deep. We're going
Well,
deep.
I
for
guess
this
it's just like something that stood out to people about these films, that comic books were always dealing with serious issues like this. They were just doing it in a form that was seen as juvenile and kind of crude and you know, had like a vapidity to it compared with like high art. And so what a lot of comic book nerds, of which I was not one, but a lot of comic book nerds knew, was that there was this really in-depth and kind of sophisticated way of looking at different perspectives. Watchmen is the classic example, where that's actually the comic book where people like, every one of these, you know, there's a consequentialist here, and there's a utilitarian here, and there's a deontological sort of perspective here, and all this.
There's one guy who's drunk a lot.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
the best
I get it.
perspective. You know?
I get it.
And there's a blue guy, so obviously, like, you know, why weren't they called just, you know, they could have been the Blue Man Group. I'm just saying,
No,
because there
there's one blue man.
only used to be one Blue Man,
and
to
he
be-
wasn't part of the group. Really, he left.
No, that's
So he
true.
was like, humans suck.
Yeah, isn't it crazy that his Willie's just out for the whole movie? And it's not the whole movie, I guess.
Good for Billy.
Good for Billy, absolutely.
Free Billy Crudup.
free Willie Crudup. There it
Free.
is.
Cool. Keep going.
I think that this movie is at its worst when it does that. That's my take. That I just don't find those conversations that interesting in this film. And it takes The Dark Knight to get a character who's like, it sums it up perfectly with Ledger's, I'm a dog chasing a car, I wouldn't know what to do with it if I got it. Where it's like, right, he's like a nihilist, or he's an absurdist, or he's whatever. He's dismissive of the whole framework. He is amoral. He is not moral or immoral. And I think when people are trying to vie for, this is what's right in Gotham, no, this is what's right. You know, obviously I shouldn't say obviously. I know very little about this, so bear with me. And anyone who's listening who actually knows shit about philosophy, I'm fucking sorry. But like, when...
Comics.
Or comic books, because I know nothing.
But go on. Continue.
But
Do well.
Ra's al Ghul at the beginning, and Liam Neeson's like, the will to act is more important than training, which sounds a lot like the will to power, which is a very like Nietzschean concept. This idea of all we have is what we embrace and how we try and bring ourselves to the power of it, right? And it's a very like kind of nebulously defined term. But he seems to be suggesting that like you become the highest man, the highest form of something by embracing that. Of course, looking at Batman as some version of like an Ubermensch, or the highest man is also there. And then you literally have Dr. Crane say, well, you know, these developers Jungian ideals or Jungian archetypes, you know, when he's talking about the Scarecrow. So like Carl Jung is in there as well. Ideas about dreams, about the shadow self, the hero, the persona. All this stuff is in there. I find it so uninteresting when people have conversations about it. And I really prefer it when these movies are either set pieces that manage to express it through the elegance of their action or character details that get at it. It's why The Dark Knight's the best version, because the Joker retelling the story of how he got his scars and refusing to own up to a distinct or a single version of his identity in his past is the most interesting philosophical expression of that character's chaos.
Yeah.
And in this, I just think people are always too busy going, why bats, Master Wayne? Well, you see, Alfred. I'm like, I fucking get it. Bats frighten him. And, like, so, of course, he's embracing... Please don't explain this to me. Like, and if people go, oh, that doesn't bother me, that's the sort of stuff where I'm just like, cut all of it out of the movie. Please. It really knocks against me when I hear it. And so it's...
I see your point. It didn't bother me. I do find it a bit of a waste of time.
Yeah.
But I don't mind it.
It's not a short movie, right? Like, it's 2 hours 10, 2:20, right? 2:20 with credits. And I think it could be a tighter 2-hour movie. I think there is a way of making this movie...
Yeah, you can't get rid of the Rachel stuff.
I mean, truly. Or just, like, less discursive about, like, what is justice, what is not justice, right? Like, what is fear, and how do we decide what is the right thing to do under the circumstances? All stuff that I'm just like, I don't think this movie... If it doesn't have a handle on it, maybe that's not appropriate to say, but it just doesn't have an interesting vantage on it that I'm not compelled by that. I am much more compelled
Or it
with...
doesn't trust that, so Rachel lays out what justice is at the start, basically, which is like, you can't kill him, that's not justice.
Yes.
And then he's like, wait, she's right. And then he carries that through and then brings it up again when Ra's al Ghul's like, kill this farmer. You just don't need that bit, right? Like, you could cut that section where he's like, I won't do it, I won't be part of the League of Shadows, and then I'm going to burn your house down. Cool, great, move along.
You could cut this... I agree with that entirely. You could cut the section where Bruce is talking about, like, his experiences abroad, and he's like, the first time I stole not to starve, I really got a new sense of morality. I'm like, are you 12? Like, that you think no one has stolen to prevent themselves from starving before?
Yeah, you think people are stealing just because
they're criminals.
Like it, and they're criminals, and
It's really...
Most crime comes from desperation.
It's such a strange moment that I really was taken aback by, like, this is from the intellectual guy, Nolan. And this is the thing that I think sometimes critics of Nolan, of which I'm really not one, I really pretty much like to love all his movies. Mm-hmm. But critics of him are like, he has an intellectual curiosity that sometimes he either chooses to simplify or he chooses to sort of like just dabble in a little, but not enough to actually provide much, in his dialogue especially, and in his character encounters, without providing much depth. His formalism is what's the most sophisticated thing. The thing you and I were talking about the other day that you hinted at was, apart from the Batman movies, what is Nolan's defining thing? He takes the temporalities of movies, he takes their form, he takes their structure, and he fucks with them. He twists them in a way where you're like, I haven't seen a story play out this way before, even if the archetypes are very familiar, and the beats are kind of, they have a sort of resonance with past narratives. This actually is the weirdest way to tell a space voyaging story, to tell a dream escape story, to tell a story of memory and a guy looking for vengeance, to tell a story about time, and even Oppenheimer, to tell a story about war and personal vendettas and inner demons, and even like a political story. It's really interesting how he does that. And I think the Batman movies are really, really quite good, and The Dark Knight is fan-fucking-tastic, but I don't think they're particularly deep, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. I think that's a pretty good pantry, actually, from you. Well done.
Appreciate that. Not that they need to be deep. I know there are people who are like...
This is going to be my next point of
I had fun, and your point was
absolutely But he's trying to make
excellent.
them maybe deeper than they need to be. Or, like, talk about how deep they are, because they can be deep without it being spoken about.
Yes.
And they would be, almost more so, if you didn't.
Yeah.
All right, we'll quickly move on to MVP, Thomas.
You go. You tell me who's your MVP.
MVP.
Christian Bale. That's so boring. That's so boring. I don't know.
He's good in it.
I love him in this,
really
and I love
good.
Christian Bale, and we'll talk about it next week. But no, I think Gary Oldman.
That's a take because he is really not in it, and yet I don't question it. I think he is very good in it.
I love him. I know who you're going to say.
Cillian Murphy, 100%.
Katie Holmes. Oh, Cillian Murphy.
Oh yeah, sorry, Katie Holmes, very close second.
Come on,
Cillian Murphy.
Droop
is Cillian Murphy is so exciting It's such a vibrant presence. And it was the right choice. That's the one thing I guess I will concede. If he had been in the main villain in this, you couldn't have had him pop up in the second and third one.
But
he's so
booed
good
his
in
pop-up.
both.
No, he's not. I hate his cameos in the second and third.
Disagree.
What's
He's
the point of him being
so
there?
funny
And
in the
he's so
second and
different.
third ones.
But he's so different. It doesn't make any
yeah,
sense. Doesn't
he's
make any
gone
sense to me.
insane. He's crazy now.
But has he? He doesn't act insane. He doesn't feel
I
insane.
think
He just feels.
him in the third movie is just excellent. The second movie, it really is just a cameo, but it is kind of funny and like his not my diagnosis or whatever. But in the third one, where he's making the rulings of death or exile, and he's like, fine, exile by death or death by exile or whatever. Like he switches.
Come on, Thomas.
It's pretty much the
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum
It's
line.
death by
from
exile.
Death by exile, right? You know.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I pardon you from life.
From life, he's so funny. I love Cillian Murphy. I think he really is one of the highlights across the series for me. It's so interesting to me that you don't like him in the second and third one. I like him a lot.
Yeah, not at all. I think he's fantastic in this one. But yeah, Gary Oldman's elite. So I mean, Christian
great.
Bale though.
It's very good.
We need to sing his praises in this. He's very good and did something really powerful and interesting and creative and grounded, strangely, as Batman. What a guy.
I think you're right. He feels real, and it's kind of remarkable that could ever be possible. And now it feels like what everyone aims for, and very few people manage it. It's hard to replicate. I think Robert Pattinson does a pretty good job of it.
Jared Leto is close as his Joker as well. Like there's people who've
Obviously
knocked against it as you would
I thought
say.
you were just going to say Morbius was the best
It's
example.
Morbid time. All right, so is anyone going to throw anything in?
Yeah, I will. Do we not do? I know he's not here, and we miss him dearly. We don't like recast. Not a thought to that. It's okay if you don't have any.
Actually, I do have one. If I was going to recast, I'd get rid of Katie Holmes and I'd put in Maggie Gyllenhaal. You know what? That's a good idea from me.
From the get go, just have Maggie be the character across
I'm
the
joking.
two. It would be
like you're not going to recast this movie. It's disrespectful to say.
It is a really tricky one to pull. I think that there's a world in which, if Nolan got the choice again, he would cast Ken Watanabe as the real Ra's al Ghul, and he would have another actor play the fake Ra's al Ghul, and he would just have that be the way. Even though people seem to love Neeson as Ra's al Ghul, I think he's good. He's not the one I think about in these movies, really. Like he's
No,
and when they bring his character back briefly for the third one, I'm always just kind of like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, that's a recast then.
So I'll throw in, I think you've done a really good job of capturing and communicating how this is a thrilling example of the fact that these movies can just be fun and can be like so full of potential, when so often comic book movies now and even at the time were a bit drab. I'd go like a 7.6. I think this is a lot more fun than I kind of gave it credit for.
7.1 to 7.6?
Yeah.
If I remember.
Take the
Okay,
win,
great.
man. Take the fucking
Sorry,
win.
yeah. There it is. That's huge. That's great. I did win.
You did.
Thank you, pal. I mean, I'll stay on a 9.5. I had a wonderful time.
It's fair.
I'm just going to quickly do this.
The weirdest...
And then we're going to...
The weirdest thing I discovered when I thought back to Batman, the Tim Burton one, and this one, I'm like, I guess I prefer the Tim Burton one, which feels wrong, but it's just a little true. I do.
Really?
Yeah. Which feels weird, but I was surprised at how much that movie worked for me when we watched it last year. I love Nicholson in it. Anyway, thanks for listening.
This is the best Batman trilogy by far.
Yes.
But that's just my opinion, man.
Throw in the pound.
Just a disclaimer, right?
Yes.
Thanks for listening to Throw on the Power. My name is Frank.
My name's Tom.
And that was Batman Begins. Make sure you like and subscribe, and please send us a DM on Throw in the Power or throwinthepowell@gmail.com. Send us an email. Tell us who's your favorite Batman. I don't know. Tell us what Thomas?
Smoking.
Throw in the pound.